Hello there everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Laramie. Last episode, literally nothing happened, so I painted some cozy little tents and a campsite. Today, quite the opposite is going on, so let's get right to it. I guess let's just get started with these. I think I will try the Desolate Brown first. After heading out of Fendelin, the group walks along the forest's edge to prevent the cart from getting stuck everywhere. Eventually, night fell and we set up a cozy little camp to rest. During Zarat's shift, he notices a blue will-o-wisp coming out of the forest and wakes Flynn to help investigate. Flynn gets a few steps closer, but after noticing that the wisp keeps its distance, going deeper into the forest, he quickly turns around to not get lost in the fog. The next day, they follow along the river to eventually reach the campsite, only to find a few tents amidst a ruined settlement. Heading into the main building, hoping to find any survivors, they suddenly feel tremors from underneath. As the ground shook, a massive insect-like monster, known as an Ankheg, suddenly emerges in front of them. Let's compare together. Let's see. Could maybe be a bit brighter, probably. Although it could actually just be edge highlighting that's missing here. That is actually very likely. Still, I wanna try... Yeah, this might be a little bit brighter. Let's try that one. Thanks to all the knowledge gained during that cursed slime encounter, we actually killed it off with just a few minor scratches. Suddenly, the group had a brilliant idea of trying to harvest its acid sac for selling purposes. Luckily for them, Oh Dear is quite skilled with medical equipment and smoothly cuts out the sac for Flynn to store in his tail. Right afterward, we hear noises coming out of the next room. Investigating, we found Tibor, the head of the camp, hiding in his office. He tells us that almost everyone was killed during the night by a random Ankheg attack and that there are still more of them out there. Eventually, we agreed to help him secure the campsite by getting rid of the remaining insects nearby. I guess let's just try pale yellows to be precise. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? After finding nothing but a few dismembered limbs from the workers, Laurel notices a little rattling from a bush nearby. Obviously, he grabs one of the arms lying around and throws it into the bush, only to have an angry little squirrel jump out, screaming at him. Flynn considered translating it for his companions, but didn't dare to put such foul language into his mouth. Right away, they sneak towards a second set of tents to the south, only to have Zarat step on that same squirrel. Let's just say it looked genuinely pissed. While looking through the tents, Zarat found some letters and a ring addressed to a certain Liliana in Neverwinter. He puts them away, planning to deliver this eventually. Outside, the group finds multiple freshly dug holes. Thinking these could be exits from Ankheg tunnels, they place some bear traps they found earlier near them. After some careful action planning, they gather around the last hole and start stomping the ground. Because you can't really, at least as far as I know, you can't dry brush with speed paints. I will obviously have to use some of those base or layer colors. Honestly, I still have no idea what the difference is between base and layer, so I think I will try with this one, once they are a bit more dry. They attracted a total of 3 Ankhegs. 2 of them actually got stuck in the bear traps right after emerging. At the same time, the third one approaches the group alone. Surprisingly, this fight went smoothly, considering this encounter's supposed deadly difficulty and the trouble the 2 mere slimes gave us. However, as the final one was on its last legs, it successfully grappled Zarat and attempted to flee into the underground. Flynn gives chase while Zarat tries to free himself by turning into a giant badger. However, that attempt failed as it grapples him again right away. Oh Dear, on the other hand, had the brilliant idea of casting prestidigitation on the insect's arms to make them smell like human poop. Visibly disgusted, the beast drops Zarat while Flynn gives it a good final stabbing. However, they are about 20 feet underground and the tunnel is rapidly collapsing. Luckily for Flynn though, he could jump onto Zarat's back, who then digs them out of there. Yeah, I think once I'm done with the brown layer, I will actually go ahead and add one very fine layer of this one right there. Sunset. Something sunset. Just for that ultimate final edge highlight. Because I'm going over this one quite rough, so that it goes like deeper in, you could say. After that fight, they decide to rest briefly, while again finally cutting out the acid sac from 2 of the ANKHEGS. One of them is even in absolute pristine condition. Eventually, they return to Tibor to bring him the good news. However, during the talks, Zarat notices the squirrel outside the window, observing us with quite a deadly stare. Anyway, the group decided to take a good long rest for the night and plan the next steps the following day. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, if you have any criticism or ideas or praise or whatever, put it in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, maybe even subscribe, who knows. Anyway, I really loved how these things turned out. And as a little bonus, these were actually not my first ANKHEGs I ever drew. The first ever mini I actually painted was also one, and just as a comparison, this is what it looked like. This was, I think without any contrast colors or speed paints, this was just, what's it called? Normal base and layer colors back then. But yeah, that's quite a difference in, I think, quality. I mean, just compare the two. I mean, both look okay in their own way. But I would say it's definitely quite an improvement still. Anyway, see you next episode. Adios. But I think I like this one. Let me look at them in reality real quick. No, if I look in reality at them, I prefer this one. In the camera, I prefer this one. In reality, I prefer this one. That's interesting. Because I still think in reality these look a bit green in reality, which is weird. Which makes me wonder, do I have a weird... Maybe I have a filter on the capture card. 1 second. Is there anything on there? No, there's nothing on there. This is as raw as it gets. I am raw dogging this.